Welcome back to my YouTube channel. With all these sewing machines on the markets, how do you know which sewing machine you need to pick for your home? In your choices of machines, you can get a straight stitch only machine. You can get a machine that takes cams. You can get a machine that has stitches built into it. You can get a treadle machine. You can get an embroidery machine. You can get a serger machine. You can get an antique or a vintage sewing machine, or you can get a newer machine. Your straight stitch only will have no zigzags to finish off your clothes. It will do a buttonhole with an adapter. It will not do buttons, and it will not do embroidery. Your cam machines, you have to change the cams out according to the stitch that you want. It will do a zigzag, it will do buttonholes, it will do buttons, and it will do embroidery-like designs to a degree. Stitches built into the machine, you can do pretty much anything you want with. You can do your buttons, you can do your buttonholes, you can do your zigzag, and you can do fancy stitches. Almost not quite like an embroidery machine, but you can do quite a few fancy stitches. If you get a newer machine with a computer, you can do a lot more fancy stitches and probably even a little bit of embroidery with it. You can get a treadle. Treadles are a straight stitch only machine, but they use no electricity. You can do buttonholes with it with a buttonhole adapter, but you cannot do buttons. You cannot do zigzags to finish clothes. Embroidery machine, those are pretty fancy anymore. You can download a picture off of the internet, let's say a Mickey Mouse, and you hit a couple of buttons and it just sews the Mickey Mouse in for you. This is what we call a serge. Then you have sergers. Sergers make the fancy stitches to finish clothing. If you want an antique or a vintage sewing machine, you will have more sturdiness in your machine. It won't break down as often. And some of them have cams, some of them do not, and some of them strong enough to sew what modern machines cannot. You can get all the adapters you need for your vintage machines, and you can get buttonhole adapters from Grease. Is the company I do believe that makes the add-on buttonholers. Or you can get a newer machine. They're a lot more portable because they weigh a lot less than the vintage machines, which can vary from 25 to 50 pounds. Newer machines sometimes have computers built in and sometimes they do not. Depends on how much you want to spend on your machine. The ones that do not have a selected variety of fancy stitches, and the ones with the computer built in, I think can do pretty much anything, but I don't have one, so I'm not going to guarantee that. If I was going to sew a lot of denim, I would definitely go with vintage machine. If I'm going to do quilt making at the church at night, and I need to take my machine with me, I would do one of the newer machines. There's no one right answer for this. It depends on what you want that machine to do and whether or not you want to transport it or not transport it. So take this list and come up with what you need out of a machine and then decide which machine you want to get. Stay tuned for more videos. Later, guys.